Online students, it is clear, right? Done. So let's start the session. In the last class, we are discussing about the SQL introduction part. So in the SQL introduction part, the most important interview questions, whatever the important interview questions are there is, first one, they are not going to ask you the full form of SQL. That is not the interview question, right? So they are going to ask you the interview questions. What is the difference between your spreadsheet versus database? Okay, a structured database versus your spreadsheet. If you say what, they will ask you what is structured database. Structured database means generally everyone will say that it is in a tabular format. Of course, the answer is tabular format only, but the data is which is having a proper structure is called as structured data. And the first interview question you are going to get is, what is the difference between your spreadsheet versus database, structured database? In the structured database, the data is getting stored in the tabular format. In the Excel also, the table will be stored in the Excel tabular format. Then what is the difference? Directly you can store in the Excel sheet only. Why to create some kind of database like this? So this is your first interview question. And you have to answer with respect to the security wise, right? And predetermined data type wise. And next, data integrity, data with respect to security, right? And data manipulations and all these things. What are the advantages we are having over the database when compared to the spreadsheet? Each and every advantage you have to mention for them, right? Now, next one, second interview question is, what is meant by schema? What is meant by schema? Database schema. What is meant by schema? Schema is nothing but skeleton structure of connection of the data points. Whatever the database in that tables are connected to each other, whatever the tables are connected to each other, for that, whatever the connections, how you are going to connect. For example, you are having a table number 1. This is the table number 1. For this table, which table you want to connect? Which table you want to connect for other tables? The connections, all the connections. First, whenever we are creating a database or in the database tables, first we have to make a schema. First, we have to design ourselves. For example, in this Naresh IT, if you want to create some kind of database for data science students exclusively, for that, we have to create the schema for that. Which tables has to be connected and which tables has to be integrated with the website. Like this, we have to create the schema before itself starting the database. Before creating the database or before creating the tables itself, first we have to have a schema. And based on that, we are going to create the tables or database, whatever it is. But after creating also, if you want to modify also, you can modify. That is okay. But initially, we can't directly blindly go with the database and say that we are not going to create the tables. For example, let us take like this. Okay. For example, here I want with respect to the students, whatever the students are there, all the 3 batches students are there. So if I open my Excel sheet, okay, this Excel sheet, just I'm opening a new Excel sheet. This Excel sheet, creating of a new Excel sheet is called as database. This Excel sheet, whatever the data, this is called as database. Here it is an Excel sheet. This is an Excel sheet, Microsoft's Excel sheet. In the particular, inside the database, you are creating one database, whatever the database you want. Okay. For example, like this, we are having one folder. I'm creating one folder. This is called as database folder. Okay. Now, whatever we are going to install the MySQL, the entire MySQL will be in this folder, assume. Now, within this folder, I can create multiple Excel files, right? Multiple Excel files I can keep. Not only this one, you can keep multiple Excel files. So, Excel file number 1. Excel file number 1 is database number 1. You are creating data 1, D1. This is the database name. Within this database, okay. Now, within this, again, you are going to create multiple tables. First table you are going to create like this by using this one. Right? So this is table number 1. This is table number 2, table number 3, table number 4. Like this, you are going to create the multiple tables. Generally, in the one worksheet, we are not going to create the multiple tables. In one worksheet, we'll keep one table. In the second worksheet, we are going to create one more table here. In the third worksheet, we are going to create one more table. Like this, we are going to create the multiple tables. And if you want to connect them, we are going to connect. Right? So these are tables. We are going to create the tables. Within the tables, you are going to write here the table, whatever the table name and with respect to the column name, some kind of serial number. What is the student name? What is the student name? So like this, we are going to use with respect to this column names within the column names. And now what is the trainer name? Okay, trainer name. Now trainer name, some of the students are with SRK, some of the students are with X trainer, some of the students are with Y trainer, some of the students are with Z trainer. Whatever the trainers, different trainers will be there. Now the entire data we are going to split into the different part. Here the students are there, whatever the batch timing is there, batch time. Okay, whatever the batch time. In this 10:30 will be there, and 9 o'clock will be there, evening 7:30 will be there. Now like this, instead of creating one big table, we are going to divide into the multiple tables. For 9 a.m. batch, table number 1. One table only for exclusively 10:30 batch. One table is exclusively for 7:30 p.m. batch. One table is exclusively for the trainers. Who are the trainers? Are there trainer names, trainer profiles. And this trainer is getting connected. Inside this SRK will be connected here. The trainer will be connected here. The trainer will be connected here. But they are not connected to each other. Now this is the connection. Whatever the connections we have drawn here, this type of connections is called as schema. Which one has to be connected? Which tables has to be connected? Which tables has not to be connected? That one is called as schema. That is the most important interview question. Schema means what are the things you want to connect. So for example, let us take in the PPT whatever I have done in the last class. Okay, let us see the same thing. Okay, in the PPT. So in the last class, I have shown you this table, one table, large amount of table, where here I'm having with respect to purchase number. Column number 1 is purchase number. Column number 2 is date of purchase, customer ID. Multiple tables I'm having. So let me, okay, here if you observe this one, we are having with respect to multiple tables, multiple columns. In a single table, we are having multiple columns and multiple rows. Now what I'm going to do, instead of having this much of large amount of data in a single table, I'm going to split that one into the multiple tables. And I'm going to make the connections between them, which is also called as relational database. And that connection, whatever the type of connection you want to make, that is called as schema. That representation on a paper is called as ER diagram. For example, I want to connect first sales table as one table. Next, for that, I want to connect the customers. For that, I want to connect the items. Now, if you observe, items, okay, what are the items? Different items are there. Okay, fine. But different items will be provided by different companies. But for that companies, phone number is already fixed. Phone number is fixed. The executive is fixed. And whatever the process is we are going to follow is the fixed. For example, now if you go open the DMart, in the DMart, whatever the number of products are there, products table is different. Whatever the items they are having, the items table is different. For that item, whoever the supplier is there, supplier's table is entirely different. Whenever a particular stock is completed, immediately automatically it will be connected to that particular supplier. Right? So here the same way, we are having this entire data into the subparts where we are going to connect like this. Now here also some of the companies, whatever the companies are there, see item code A1 is different, item code A2 is different. Item A1 is nothing but lamp, item A2 is nothing but desk. But both of them are getting supplied by the company A only. Why I want to repeat this company A and the same phone number as it is? For one company, one phone number only will be there. Again, why I have to repeat? This one also I want to separate, means you are going to create a company's separate table. And you are going to have the connection in that way. So see here, just I'm going to make a connections like this. Now instead of this one, now I'm going to increase the one more table called as companies. Now if you observe this one, this is the main table where the purchase number, date of purchase, customer ID, item code. This customer ID 1 only will be there. But what is the customer name? Customer ID 1, what is the name of the customer and what is the last name or first name and email address and everything about that customer I'm going to have in a customer's detail. So this is separate. This is a different table. And this table was connected to this one. How you are going to connect that one in the SQL means just by using for this table in the column name, you have to write as the foreign key. You have to use a word called as foreign key, FK. FK means foreign key. So here you are going to use FK. Here you are going to use PK. Whichever the PK and FK are there, these both will be connected to each other. Wherever the FK and wherever the PK is having the same name as this name, they both will be connected automatically. Here I'm going to write in this table FK, foreign key. Foreign key means related to this information is going to be have in the another table. Whatever the information of this particular column is there, this information you are going to have in the different table. The details are in the different table. Here the details are not available. Somewhere the details are available. Somewhere means foreign, outside, not inside. It is available outside. So here we are going to discuss the foreign key and primary key. Of course, I will explain still more detailedly. Don't worry. This is not the thing. Still, I will explain more detailedly. Right? Now, but the schema means connection between the tables. This is one of the most important interview question. Schema means connections between the table. The same table, if you represent like this, now whatever you are seeing on the PPT as of now, this is called as ER diagram. As of now, what you are seeing is called as ER diagram. Connections is called as schema. Diagram representation is called as ER diagram. ER means entity relationship. Entity means table. Table to table relationship. Entity relationship diagram. Entity relationship diagram. Which table, which column was connected to other table. Within this table, this column was connected to this table. This column was connected to this table. Again, in this table, company ID is there. This company ID is connected to this table. But in this, there is no that company ID is there. Is there any company ID? So there is no company ID. So this will not be connected to this one. So just observe this one. I am writing with respect to this PK, PK, PK. Now, wherever the word of FK and PK is having the same word, those two will be connected. Just observe that one. Word should be the same. Column name should be as is. Okay. In MySQL, it is case sensitive, not a case sensitive one. But in SQL Server, it is a case sensitive. Right? So here, if you consider this customer ID, the same customer ID is here. Here the word is PK is there. Here the word is FK is there. So these both are connected. Here item code. Where is other item code? Somewhere item code. It is not item code. Item code. No. Item code. Here it is there. That two PK word is there. So PK, here FK. These both will be connected. Just connecting the PKs and FKs is the schema. Okay. So simply to say what is meant by schema. Once again, I am saying what is meant by schema. Relational schema. That too relational schema. Relational schema means having the relation. Okay. The schema within the relational databases are called as relational schema. Schema within relational databases. Within relational databases are called as relational schema. Now, what is meant by schema? Schema means nothing but connection between the tables. Which tables are connected to each other? Connections between the tables. Now the same representation of schema. How you are going to represent this schema on a paper? If you want to start the creation of the table, for example, I want to create this database only. Assume that whatever you are saying, this database only, I want to create inside the SQL. I mean, inside the MySQL database, I want to create the same. This is the table number 1 called as sales. Table 2 called as customers. Table 3 is called as items. Table 4 is called as companies. So I have to create 4 tables in my database. Table 1, Table 2, Table 3, Table 4. 4 tables I have to connect. And for 4 tables, I have to make the connections like this. Now, before starting the opening of MySQL and creating the tables inside that, first you have to represent the same thing on the ER diagram. Based on that idea, you are going to create. Without having any idea, we can't directly open the database. Inside the database, we are not going to create the tables. First, which tables has to be created, for which columns has to be created, which columns has to be connected to each other. Representation. Representation of schema. Whatever the representation of schema you are having, your representation of schema is called as ER diagram. Representation of schema on a paper. On a paper, if you draw that one, on the paper, that one is called as ER diagram. Okay, connections are called as schema. The representation of schema on a paper is called as ER diagram. Diagram will be represented on a paper, not inside the database. Both are important questions. Relational schema, what is meant by relational schema, what is meant by ER diagram. Both are equally important. Right? Now, once we understand the schema and which tables has to be connected and how many tables we have to design and how many columns we have to design inside that, if you understand everything, then we can start the process. Okay, just you can open the database and inside that you can create the tables, multiple tables. Right? Now, as I've told you, why we are going to select the MySQL, it is an open source, and many of you are having the question that what is the difference between MySQL and Microsoft SQL Server. So generally in the other institutes or somewhere, okay, some people will say that SQL Server is important. Who says that word means whoever are using Power BI. Whoever use the Power BI, in the Power BI course only the SQL will be connected. If they are not using the Power BI means SQL Server, they are not going to use. So this is the difference between SQL Server versus MySQL. Can you see the differences? That is, for example, if you want to select any particular columns, field means nothing but columns. Columns are called as fields in the SQL. I already told you, right? So if you want to select a columns means simply you are going to write select column 1 and column 2. This is the syntax. Don't write in the notes. Nothing, no need to write. Just observe. Okay. But whereas the same thing in the SQL Server, you have to write select field 1 and field 2. That is column 1 and column 2 within the square brackets. This is the syntax there. Concept is same. Both of them going to select the two columns only. In this case also it is going to select column 1, column 2. In this case also it is going to select column 1, column 2. Concept is same. And if you see here, case sensitivity. For example, if you are writing this one, case sensitivity, here there is no case sensitivity. For example, if you write as caps lock SCLT, or if you write this one, there is no difference. And the field name, particularly the field also, the field means column name. Whatever the column name you are having like this, if you are writing like this and if you are extracting also, there is no problem. Completely it is a non-case sensitive. Small letters, caps lock letters, anything you can select as per your choice. Okay, if you write in a small word also, no problem. Whereas Python is a case sensitive one. Whereas MySQL is not a case sensitive, but whereas SQL Server is again case sensitive. So if there is a word of column name called as correct is the column name, you have to use the same word. You can't use in terms of like this caps lock CORED while extracting the data. Right? So when compared to the syntax, if you observe all these things, the syntax is how to use with respect to the column name as a shortcut. Import numpy as NP. In in Python, we have used the word of as. Here we have to use is equal to in the SQL Server. So these are the differences. Out of all the differences, if you observe the differences, here this MySQL will be very easy to understand. For learning purpose, MySQL is the best option. Okay. Now, for example, sir, you are saying MySQL, fine, sir. But in the company, after learning MySQL, let us assume there is a job opening, one job opening. And that job opening, they are asking a description. In the description, they have mentioned the SQL Server. Do we not have to learn? No. Just you are going to write in the resume only SQL word. You are not going to write the word of MySQL. Just you will write the word called as SQL. Just that. In the resume, you have to write only SQL. Now, in the interview they will ask you, SQL you have worked, right? Yes. On which database you have worked? MySQL. Okay, fine. And they will ask the questions related to that. Once, for example, the company is working on the SQL Server. Still, they have shortlisted your resume. Okay, they have shortlisted your resume and they have given the appointment letter and you have joined in the company also. And after joining in the company, now you are working on the SQL Server. Now the company people don't know that you don't know that my SQL Server. They know, right? They know that you know only MySQL. You don't know that SQL Server. You don't know this one. They know, but still they have selected you. Why they have selected you? Because the difference between both of them is nothing. Just a small syntax that you can learn easily in 1 hour or 2 hours maximum. Complete the MySQL. And after learning the entire MySQL in the YouTube, select SQL Server, anything of your choice, whichever the video are interested, just select. And after that selecting, in 1 day, you will complete the entire SQL. Right? Sir, better to teach SQL Server also. Then if I teach SQL Server, then PostgreSQL and with respect to Oracle SQL, like this, How many skills we are going to learn? How many databases we learn like that? Right? So the main part is of MySQL I'm going to teach you, and remaining part you can easily understand. Okay, just in one day you'll complete. Okay, so anyways, you'll be here only, right? I will be also here only. After SQL, we are going to cover the Tableau. During that, you are going to learn the MySQL server. You'll open the YouTube, and still, if you're not able to understand, please let me know. I'll be here only, right? Easily you'll identify, and you'll say that, sir, it is a dead easy, sir, after learning MySQL, SQL server, or this one, or Oracle, anything, right? Next, coming to the next point. So these are the things which we have discussed in the last class. Now, coming to the next point called as MySQL installation. So yesterday I have downloaded, but I have not installed because last 10 minutes instead of installation, I have directly shared you the installation file along with the PDF of how to install. Already in your drives it is available. Just open that one. In any drive, 9, 10, 730, every drive I have already uploaded, right? If you want, you can check now. Already uploaded, you can check now. And once again, I'm going to open the same thing and I'm going to install now directly, because if you get any error during the installation process, that is going to be a headache. I can't solve that one. Multiple people will send the multiple images, miss. It is very difficult to solve them. So I'm going to show you the complete installation. I have not done the installation in my system. So I'm also going to do for the first time. So directly the same file, whatever I have uploaded for you, just open your drive now. Just open everyone. Whoever feels that it has not been uploaded, just open. Right? Guys, don't discuss, please. Now here, if you open your drive, okay, in the drive, you are having the MySQL Community Edition. Just double click on this. Just double click on that. Once you double click on that, okay, I'm going to show you the entire installation process. Here I'm going to install everything, right? So I'm going to keep the installation procedure, whatever the PPT I have uploaded, the same thing I'm going to keep side. Both of them I'm going to keep side, and I'm going to, based on this, I'm going to install, right? Yes. Now, just you click on the S. Okay, first step is click on the S, and directly you are going to get, this is the first one. For some of the students, you may get upgrade, means latest version. This is the old one. If you get the latest version, click on the X, and you will get, automatically it will select that one. So first slide you are going to get like this, as I have sent in the PDF. The first one you are going to get a slide like this. After which you have to select the developer, this one, and click on the next. Just click on the next. And here, if you see here, it is going to ask these many things. So here in the installation guide, whatever the PPT I have sent, in that only Visual Studio is there, but now it is showing so many things in my system. This is my latest laptop, right? So just what we have to do here, all of them, just you have to click on the execute. So now everything will be installed one by one, right? Just click on the execute. Don't click on the next. Next means you are skipping off. In this situation, execute and next two words are there, means execute word you have to use. Without execute, only next is there, means next step. Execute word is there, means you have to execute, then only you have to click on the next. Don't click directly next. Whenever you see the execute word, first you have to click on the execute word. Right? Sir, for 9 AM batch not uploaded, not found the SQL file in the drive. Just a minute. Oh, for these people I have not uploaded. Guys, for you, I have not uploaded. Just a minute. Okay, I'm uploading now. Guys, please be silent. Done. I have uploaded. Right? Yes. Now, so here, once the first setup was completed, let us continue the installation. So once everything was done, so it is showing that for Visual Studio 1.0, just click on the next. And here it is going to ask yes. Click on the yes. And here there is a word called as execute. Click on the execute. In the PPT next, you are going to have the next one is called as here yes. You have to click on the yes. After that, you will get a slide like this where you have to use execute. Just click on the execute. Now it is going to take almost 30 to 40 minutes time. This part only will take more time. Okay. Maybe the second one or fourth one, somewhere it will take more time. It's completely depends upon your system configuration. Right? Yes. And you have, whenever you have received a zip file, just unzip that one. I'm showing you the step-by-step process, right? Guys, everyone, I'm showing you the step-by-step process. I have downloaded the same thing from the whatever I have uploaded in the drive. I'm downloading the same thing. Okay. Whatever I have uploaded, I have downloaded the same thing and I'm showing the step-by-step process. Now you no need to go to the website. You no need to download that zip file or nothing. Directly you can download directly from the drive only. Directly download from the drive. Just click on this and click on the download. Right? Once you download that one and double click on that and start the process, installation process. Don't open the website. If you are unable to understand from the website, don't open the website. Directly open the drive. Pawan, open the drive. From the drive, download. Sir, can I choose custom instead of developer option? Developer option is the best one instead of going with the custom or something else. Custom means in the future you have to install as per your requirements. Developer, whatever I have downloaded and whatever I have shared you, it is going to have the complete one. In the further, you no need to download once again or you no need to do anything manipulations. Right? Guys, offline students, please be silent. After the class, you can discuss. Hello, chat. After the class, you can discuss. Right? So click on the next and after next and whatever you are having as it is, click on the next and it is going to ask with a password. I'm going to save it as a password and click on the next and it is asking the password. I'm entering the password 1234. Okay. And after entering, it is going to say that it is a week. Okay, no problem. Though it is a week also. Okay. And here it is showing the name as MySQL 80. I'm keeping as it is. I'm not going to change anything. Just I'm going to click on the next only. And it is asking the grant full access, complete access. Yes, I'm going to click on the next. And here there is an option called as execute. Just I'm going to click on the execute step by step. Right? The application requires .NET framework message means just click on the X. Yes, there is a word called as yes. Click on that. Right? After that, now again it is going to show this one. Same thing, whatever I have uploaded in the PPT, same, one by one. Okay, MySQL word. After that, password, I have kept the password. After that, I have got this one. After that, I have clicked on the execute and everything was completed and I have clicked on the finish. Now I have got this one and I'm going to click on the next. Just click on the next. After that, what is the next one you are going to get is this is the one. Next time, after once you click on the next, you are going to get next slide as like this, where you have to click on the finish. So just click on the finish. Don't do anything. Just again, it is going to ask this one configuration and just click on this. and type here the password, whatever the password you have set, 1234, and click on the check. And you are going to get a tick mark, and here the connection succeeded. And click on the next and execute. Click on the execute. Right? And click on the finish. Next, again. Done. Now entire things are completed. Right? So now you are going to get a first page called as workbench, where the workbench is your. You guys are interested to talk, means go and outside and complete and come in again back. If you want to speak continuously and you want to discuss with your friend, means complete at least that task. Why 50-50 sitting in the class and disturbing others? Are you interested in disturbing others? So you are not going to listen, so others should not also listen. So you are some kind of psycho person, right? You don't want to listen. That is your choice. You don't want others also to listen. Sadism, some kind of. Right? So if you're not interested, miss, just go out. If you want to discuss, that is most important than this one, miss. You are feeling that one, miss, you can go out. Did I told not, don't go out. Did I told like that, anyone? Just you can go out and you can discuss, right? Whoever are interested, and that if you feel that sentence is more important than this class, first you go out and complete that one and come back. Feel that you are not only sitting in this class. Feel that others are also sitting in the class. Other students are there. You are not interested, miss. Others are interested. You are not having the right to disturb others in the class. Not interested, simply go out. I'm not going to stop none of them. But sitting in the class and disturbing others, miss, it is some kind of sadism. You are a sadist, equal to. Still you want to do, miss, continue. Means I will also identify who is the saddest person in this class. Right? This is my way of controlling the class. Example. Right? Now, here, just once you execute this workbench, whatever the workbench you are having, just click on the once installation is completed. Okay? Once installation is done, it depends upon the system configuration. Okay? So now once the installation is done, just click on the MySQL. Here in the MySQL, just type MySQL workbench. Just click on this. Okay. Once you click on this, you are going to get like this. And within that, you just click on this one. And here it is going to ask you the password. And whatever the password you have set, just click on that. And you are going to get a first web page like this. Right? Complete step-by-step process I have shown you. And the same thing I have uploaded as a same thing. Every slide to slide I have taken the screenshots and I have uploaded here. So just to keep this one side to you and just click on the everything one by one, step by step. And finally you are going to get final window in this way. Right? Now, here we are going to execute the SQL queries. What are the SQL queries? You want to create a database, or you want to create a tables, or if you want to create something. And after that, creating once and once the data is locked in the database, now we are going to extract the data. Right? Now, here in the SQL also, we are having the different data types are there. Okay, similar kind of Python, how we are having the int, float, complex, boolean data types and string data type like this. In the SQL also, we are having different types of database. Right? Different types of data types. So next heading is data types. Okay, SQL data types. We are not going to use the same data types what we have done in the Python. Here we are going to use a different data types. Right? Now the data types. So whatever the data types we are having here, we have to predetermine. This is not a dynamic programming. This is a static. What is the difference between the static versus dynamic? Means before itself, we have to mention the data type. So A is equal to 12.9 means, for example, in the Python, automatically it will take the type of A is float. It is automatically considering that one. But in the SQL, we have to mention the type before itself. For example, you are creating a table like this. Okay. So the table name is called as students is the table name. Inside this students table name, I'm going to give the serial first one column name is called as serial number. For this serial number, I have to mention what is the data type. So here I have to write the data type name also. Data type I'm writing as int. Now automatically it is going to accept only the int type. It will not accept the float. It will not accept the characters. It will not accept any other data type apart from the int. So for every column, you have to clearly mention the column name along with the data type also. So what are the different data types we are having within the SQL? Miss, the first one, any data. Basically the data we are having two types. One is numerical data. One is text data. Okay, in the numerical we are having with decimal, without decimal. Text means as combination. Text means only text also consider text. If a combination, like for example, your password is there. Password s at the rate of 123. Something you are having like this. Or SIB at the rate of, or SIB hyphen 123. So any special characters or combination of this one, everything, how we have mentioned in the Python, the strings. In the strings we can take anything, right? The same way here also, that everything comes under text. A combination of special characters also comes under text. Now here the data, if it is having a strings, the data, whatever we are having the data, each letter, whatever the each letter is called as, one letter is called as one symbol. Each letter is called as symbol. Here the name is called as James. It is 5 symbols. Here the name is called as Jackson. It is a 7 symbols. So each letter is a symbol, and each symbol use the 1 byte of space in the SQL. 1 byte. Every letter will use 1 byte. So one symbol is equivalent to 1 byte, right? So here, what are the things you are going to use? So 1 byte. Now here James, 5 symbols are there. Miss, it is going to use the 5 bytes of space in your SQL. Inside the database, it is going to use 5 bytes. If your name is Jackson, then it is going to use 7 bytes of space, right? Now here for the strings, we are having two types. For storing the strings, for any text data, for storing the strings, text data, we are having two types. One is called as char. Second one is called as varchar. These are the two. One is called as char and one is called as varchar. What is the difference? This is the interview question. What is the difference between char versus varchar? Okay, difference. So here, for example, let us take a table. Inside the table, one of the column name is called as name of the student is the column name. So here I'm going to write char of 10. You have to write how many symbols maximum it is going to accept. Char is the data type, and you have to use the brackets. Inside the brackets, you have to write the number. Whatever the number you are writing, it is going to accept that much of maximum number of characters. For example, you have written 10. If I am writing SIVA space RAMA space K, after that R will not be executed. It will stop here only. After 10 characters are already completed. So 10 characters, once the 10 characters are completed, it will not allow the 11th character. So how many maximum number of characters you want to accept, that you have to write here. Now, what is the difference of char versus varchar? For example, here in this table, this is the table. In this table, let us take one more table. So here also name. Here instead of name, I'm using varchar. Whether it is a caps lock or small letters, don't worry. It is not a case sensitive. So don't worry about the letters caps lock or small one. So what is the difference between varchar and char? For example, here I'm using the Siva. Here I'm writing Siva. Right? Now, in the both the situations, in this table also I have written Siva, in this table also I have written Siva only. But in this situation, what happens means this Siva is going to use 10 bytes of space. In this Siva, it is going to use just 4 bytes of space. Remaining 6 bytes will be free. It is just using 4 bytes of space. That is the difference between char versus varchar. Char means fixed. For every cell consists of 10 bytes. Though you are using the 10 bytes or not using the 10 bytes also, it will use the 10 bytes of space. For example, I am writing here SRK. Though I have written the 3 letters also, still it will use the 10 bytes only. Though you are writing Vamsi, also it will use 10 bytes only. 5 letters, 10 letters, up to 10 letters, whatever the name you are writing. For example, you have written Santosh, which is 8 letters. Still it is using the 10 bytes. For example, these are the 4 names. Now, for 4 names, how much space it is using? 40 bytes. Same four names I'm writing here. Santosh. So here it is going to use only 3 bytes. Here it is going to use 5 bytes. Here it is going to use 8 bytes. Now total how much space it has occupied means 7, 12, 20. Just 20 bytes of space only it has occupied for 4 values. Same values are stored. There is no difference. Maximum in this case also 10 only, in this case also 10 only. 11th letter in this case it will not accept, in this case also 11th letter will not be accepted. But here it is going to use with respect to varchar means variable, var means variable space. As per whatever the data you have entered, according to that it is going to adjust the space. That is the utilization of varchar. 99%, not 99%, 100% will use varchar only. Char we are not going to use. Earlier, when they have created in 1970s, first they have created with char. Later they have upgraded with varchar. Now everyone are using only varchar. 100% we are using only varchar, but char is also available. So char of 5 means, for example, James you are writing. You have allotted for that particular thing 5 bytes. So you are using the complete 5 bytes. For example, Bob, you have written the word called as Bob. But it is having only 3 symbols, but still it is allocating 5 bytes. The same thing if you are using. So 5 represents the maximum number of symbols that are allowed to write the value in this format. Okay, that is text format or a combination of everything. So here, see, this is a fixed storage. Char means fixed storage. Varchar means variable storage. So here, James of 5 bytes you allotted and 5 bytes what's utilized. But here you have allotted 5 bytes, but it is using only 3 bytes. Is that clear? Char and varchar. And now within the varchar, now varchar is there. Within the varchar, in the bracket, what is the maximum number you can write? 5, 10, 15. What is the maximum number you can write? Miss, it is 65,535 is the maximum number. Maximum number is 65,535. Whereas for char, it is 255. For char, it is maximum allowed is 255 only. For varchar, it is allowed with 65,535. It is the maximum limit. If you are having more than 65,535 miss, you have to use separate cell for that. Again, separate record you have to use. It can't store more than that. It is going to allow only up to 65,535. Right? So now, out of these two, char and varchar, which one is most important which is most widely used? Miss, varchar is most widely used for the saving of the space. For example, I know this particular column is going to consist of shortcut and char of 3. I'm writing char of 3. In this only 3 characters I'm going to use. I know that one before itself. Company name, whatever the company name is there. For example, your name is whatever your name. You have to write in the 3 letters only. Your name is Vamsi Krishna. Vamsi Krishna also you have to write in the 3 letters only. Though your VK also you have to write in 3 letters. That is VMK, something like this. So if I am fixed that everything is going to be of 3 letters, I know that before itself, then I'm going to use the char only. In that case, I'm going to use char. If I don't know that how many letters you are going to use, maybe 2 letters, maybe 3 letters, anything you may use, then I'm going to use the varchar. Fix that 3 letters. Okay, then I'm going to use with respect. 3 means not, example is 3, 5 or 10, whatever the number. You know the fixed number of characters you are going to use in this. For example, 4 number is there. 4 number 10 characters. Though it is a numeric example wise I'm saying. Don't say that 4 number is not with respect to varchar. It is a int. Right? Now 4 number, whatever the 4 number you are having. Now this 4 number, for example, 10 digits are there. Fixed, right? None of them is going to have the 11 digit. Instead of 4 number, I'm writing mobile number. It is more. If it is a landline number, means it may have with respect, but mobile numbers will have only 10 digits. So 10 digits are fixed. I know this one, only 10 digits are going to be there. So fixed means, then in that case, go with the char only, instead of varchar. Sir, if I go with the varchar of 10 or char of 10, both of same only, right? Why particularly char only I have to use, varchar also I will use. What is the problem? Now, in this situation, for mobile number 10 digits are fixed. You know that one, only 10 digits we are going to use. That too, everyone are going to use 10 digits only. You know everything perfectly. Now, it is better to go with the char. Why? Because it is faster. Okay, it is faster. Why it is faster? Because it is a fixed space, right? The allocation is not going to change. So it is a fixed space. For example, lists are there. Lists are mutable and tuples are immutable. Now for using the for loop, if you are using the for loop and you are accessing the elements whatever is there in the list, L is equal to 1 2 3 4, tuple of 1 2 3 4, you are having like this. Now you are using the for loop, and using the for loop for I in L, for I in L print I, for I in T, for I in T print I. If you write like this, out of these two, this is fast comparatively, because this tuple, whatever the tuple you are having, the tuple is very fast processing wise, because it is locked already. It is not going to edit. Whereas this one is a mutable, you may add. So this particular object, when compared to this one, this is already a locked object. So for a processing, it is going to be fast. So char will be somewhat faster when compared to your varchar, right? So any text data you can store by using char or varchar, right? Next. So here the company name is there. Company name is COA, COB, COC, COD. So 3 letters I'm going to use. I fixed it. So I'm going to use char only. For passwords, whatever the password you are going to create, we are not having the fixed one. Up to maximum decimals. So we are going to print that where password should consist of at least 1 lower character, 1 upper character, and with respect to total number of characters should not exceed more than 15 miss. What is the meaning of that? Varchar of 15 they have written. So that is the reason more than 15 it is not accepting in the website, right? So varchar means variable space. To utilize the maximum space, we are going to use the varchar as the data type. Next data type we are having is enum, right? Inside this enum, we are going to use whatever the things. For example, I'm using M and F. Only these two are accepted. In that column, for example, I have created a table like this. In the table, gender. Column name is called as gender. Data type is called as enum of M, F. Now inside this table, you can use only M and F only. You can't even write MALE also. You can't use this one also. It is 100% you have to use only M or F. This one is also not accepted. Only this one and this one. Sir, where we are going to use? For example, in the website, in the application form. In the application form, you can see the gender. In the gender, there will be an option like this, and there will be arrow mark something like this. Once you click on this arrow mark, there will be options like male and female. And you are going to select this one. You are going to write that, you are going to select that one. You are not going to do, you are not going to write the manually, MALE, you are not going to write like this. Or you are not going to write just M only. You are not going to write MALES. Whatever is available, you are going to use that one only, right? Now, whenever you have selected male, for example, you have selected something like male, right? Automatically this male, whatever you have selected, this will be stored in the database in that particular column called as gender, where this gender column was created with male, female. Enum of. Data type is enum of male, female. So this column will accept only male or only female word. Only these two will accept. Sir, enum inside that we have to write only 2 things, huh? No, you can write many things. For example, I'm writing inside this only transgender, third one. In the enum, you are writing 3. So these 3 will accept. Whatever you have kept in the enum, within that, it is going to accept. For example, I have written enum of Naresh, SRK, Suresh, Mahesh, something I have written 4. These 4 only it is going to accept. Whatever you have written within the enum, it is going to accept only those. It will not accept the third one. Any other category apart from that. It is fixed. So that is called as enum. So MySQL will show an error if you attempt to insert any value apart from M or F. Other than these two, if you try anything, it will throw the error. It will say that we can't insert this particular value in that particular column. Right? Next. So this is the text. Any text data is there. The text data we are going to use either char, varchar or enum. Right? Next, we are having the numbers. Whenever you are having the numerical data, we are having with respect to integers, int. The data type name is called as int, which is nothing but integers. Whether it is a positive integer or a negative one. Okay, sign is not a problem. Negative sign or a positive sign. Right? The entire number, without any decimal. Without any decimal is considered under int. Int will accept only without the decimal values. No decimal values it will accept. Right? So here we are having the signed int and unsigned int. For example, I'm writing here. This is the table. Within the table, this is the column name called as serial number. So this serial number, where signed and unsigned. What is meant by unsigned means it accepts only the positive numbers. So for serial number, you are going to use only int means here you can write -1, -4. Serial numbers can be -1, -4 like this. No, right? Serial number will be 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. So what I'm going to use? I'm going to use unsigned int. The name I'm going to keep as unsigned int. Unsigned int means it will accept only the positive numbers. If you don't write unsigned or signed, by default, it is going to take the signed. By default, it will take the sign. For example, I have it in the table serial number. I have given the int. By default, it will accept positives and negatives. If you write particularly unsigned means it will accept only the positives. It will not accept the negative values. Whenever you are inserting the negative values, it will throw the error. Right? Now, within the int, we are having different types. Tiny int, small int, medium int, and big int. So what is meant by tiny int? Tiny int means it is going to use that whatever the value you are going to enter. Whatever the value you are going to enter, it is going to have the 1 byte. It is going to use 1 byte. For one value, 1 byte. In the Excel sheet, for example, I'm writing like this. See. In the Excel sheet, I'm writing serial number. In the serial number, I'm writing with respect to serial number. And I'm writing in the bracket int. Okay. Let us assume I have given like this. Now, what happens if here I am entering the value just 1. Just I have entered the 1. Now for 1 also, how much space it is going to use, you know? Since I have given the int, the word of int, so it is going to use 4 bytes. Whenever you have given the int word, automatically each value, for example, you are entering here 1 value. Here you are entering 1 value. Each value will use 4 bytes. This is 4 bytes. This is 4 bytes. This is 4 bytes. Each value is 4 bytes when you are using the int. For example, the same thing, instead of int, you are using this one. Here you have written the, instead of int, you have written like this, tiny int. You have used the word called as tiny int. Right? Now in this case, now what happens? Same value. But each value will be used with 1 byte on. Got the point? Got the difference? Once again, serial number. I'm writing the serial number column name in the table. One more table, serial number. In this particular table, one person is using int. He is going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He knows up to 10 only. Maximum number is 10 only. He knows that one. But still he has used the int word. Now what happens? Total 10 values, 10 into 4, 40 bytes of space is used. If I am using instead of int, tiny int. Now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Same numbers. The maximum number is 10. So here I am using with respect to this one. So 10 into 1, only 10 bytes of space will be used. Okay. This is in this way we are going to memory space efficient. We are going to use the space. We are not going to waste the space. Right? Now here, just observe this one. For example, you are writing like this. Okay. 1, 2 like this and click on the save and see how much space it is using in your system. Your Microsoft Excel. Just I'm closing this one, Microsoft Excel, and just I'm opening where I have done this on the desktop, right? On the desktop I have created. Now how much space it has used? 9 bytes. 9 kilobytes. 9 kilobytes means 9 into 1000. Kilo means 1000, at least 1000. Okay, actual value is 1024, but let us take 1000. 9000 bytes of space it has used. Inside that Excel sheet, how many values are there? For creating 9000 bytes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 now. For 6 values only, it is using 9000 bytes in your system. In your system, 9000 bytes are already used. But the same thing you give in the database, it is going to take with respect to just 20 bytes only. Where 9000, where 20 bytes. So that way the databases are space efficient when compared to your spreadsheets, right? Now in the tiny int, you are going to have one value is equal to 1 byte, one value, not with respect to symbol. Here not symbol. Symbols are only for the text. Here only the value. Though you are entering 1000 also, this is considered as one value. 10,000 also one value. One number is equal to one value, right? Now here in the tiny int, what is the maximum capacity is up to 256 if you are taking only positive numbers. For example, let us assume this in the Naresh IT. In the Naresh IT, I have created one table name called as 9 AM batch is the table name. Okay. In that serial number, I have taken the serial number. For the serial number, I have given with respect to here a tiny int. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 like this. Up to how many I can go miss? Up to 256 only. That too, if I write unsigned int, if I write unsigned word, if I write unsigned tiny int means up to 256 I can take because positive numbers. For example, if you don't write the unsigned word, you have written only tiny int means by default it is going to take the signed one. When it is going to consider the signed one, by default it is going to take the negative values also. That is minus 127 to plus 128. It is going to consider in that way. Minus 128 to plus 127. If you are taking only positive values means 0 to 256 is the maximum number. Than 256 you can't increase the number. For example, you want to store 10,000. You can't write this 10,000 word. Okay, you can take up to maximum of 256. Whereas small int, it will accept up to 65,535. Whereas medium int, 16,000, so 1 lakh, 16 lakhs, 16 lakhs, sorry, not even 16 lakhs. 1 crore 67 lakhs 77,215. So it is going to use till that, right? Whereas int will use up to this is the maximum value. Whereas big int, it will use up to this value, right? So for each of them, it is going to use. First, you have to understand serial number. In Naresh IT, for my batch, particularly SRK batch, is the serial number is going to cross more than 256? No. If I know that answer clearly, then why I have to use with respect to int? Directly I will go with the tiny int, right? Then they will ask you a question. There is a question called as, why just we can't use the big int every time? If you use every time big int, that is the maximum, right? So directly use every time big int only, or simply use int only every time. Why? Because for each small value also, it is going to use maximum space. So for example, you are writing instead of, so if you're not sure that in a particular certain column, you won't need any integer greater than 100. In that case, you just go with the tiny int and your work will be done. And accessing also, and the processing also, and the storage also, everything will be advantage. When you are going to use that much of big number only, you use that one. For example, you want to save the phone number. Phone number, you can't use the tiny int, right? For any column, phone number is there. You can't go with the tiny int. You can't go with the small int. You can't even go with this one. So what is the number you have to use? Phone number means 10 digits means you have to use compulsory int. Int will use 10 digits. Out of 10 digits, that to this, whatever the phone number 4, it is starting. Starting number is 4, but phone number starts with 9. Some of the phone number starts with 9. Now in this case, what we have to use? Big int. Each phone number is equal to 8 bytes. Whatever the phone number you are entering, each phone number is equal to your 8 bytes of space it is going to use. Right? Now, if you are using varchar of 10, and you are entering the phone number inside the strings. Now what happens there? 10 bytes. Here, 8 bytes. Which is best? 10 bytes best or 8 bytes is best? So instead of varchar, you have to go with the big int directly. Is that clear, guys? So based upon your requirement, so in that particular thing, what you are going to select, in that what are the different values you are going to get, based on that you have to select the data type. If you know that in this you may get some of the negative values, some of the positive values, means you have to go with the signed one. You know that only positive values you are going to consider, then just go with the unsigned one. Right? Clear? Next, This is all with respect to int values or without any decimal values. If you want to include the decimal values, if you want to take the decimals, the data type is called as decimal. For non-decimal numerical values, we are having int. Within that, tiny int, small int, medium int, and big int. These are the things which we are having. Coming to the decimal. For any values with decimal, we have to use the data type is called as decimal. Within the decimal, we have to write two things, two arguments we have to pass. The first argument is called as precision. The second argument is called as scale. Argument 1 is called as precision. Argument 2 is called as scale. These are the two things you have to provide inside that. Now, what is meant by precision? Precision means refers to the number of digits. Total how many number of digits you are going to use. And scale. Scale means after the decimal value. Refers to the number of decimals to the right of the decimal point of the number. To right side of the decimal point. For let us take like this. I'm going to use decimal of 5, 3. Okay. There is a column like this. One of the column. This column is going to use some kind of value. Okay. For example, the value, let us take like this, mileage of a car. Okay. Mileage of a car, where I have given the decimal with 4, 2. 4, 2 means 4 digits, including the decimal values and non-decimal completely. Left side and right side. Completely it is 4 decimals, out of which right side is 2 decimals. So for example, I am entering the value of 10.24. Okay, it is going to accept. If I write 10.2 only, it will add 0 for that automatically. For example, I am writing 10.239. It will make it as round figure to 10.24. It will store only 10.24 as the value. Right? It is going to keep with respect to the decimals, after that 2 decimals, up to 2 decimals. You are restricting your data up to 2 decimals. Right? For example, here, I am writing one value called as 10.2345 6, something I have written like this. Now here 5 decimals are there. Now I want to convert this 5 decimals to 2 decimals only. What I am going to do? Just I am going to right click on this. I am going to click on the format cells. Okay. And here the numbers, whatever the numbers are there, up to 2 decimals only. 2 decimals means it is going to select only 2 decimals. Entire column you want. For example, here mileage. I am keeping the name called as mileage. And this entire column should be of maximum 2 decimals only. So select entire column and click on the format and click on the number with keep the 2 decimals. So it is going to keep as 2 decimals. For example, I am writing only 10.00, automatically printed, right? So I am writing with 16.24569 something. Automatically converted to 2 decimals. And I am writing with 12.4. Is that clear? For example, I am writing 131. Automatically, it is adding that decimal values, 2 decimal values. So that is with respect to called as decimal. Here also in the MySQL also it is do the same thing. So for example, I am writing with respect to like this, decimal 5, 3. 5, 3 means 10.523. Okay. Total 5 decimal values, total 5 digits, out of which 3 of them are after the decimal value. So you have entered 10.5 means automatically after the decimal remaining 3 it is going to add, right? Now here I am writing decimal of 7, 0. 7, 0 means whatever round figure, I am going to make it as round figure. For example, here the same column, whatever the column is there, I am going to select the format, and here the decimal values I am going to change to 0.